Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Syaima and I'm from class 8.4. Today, I'm going to be presenting my research study titled Efforts to Improve Student Soul and Body Within the Social Life of Madrasah. But first, let's move on to the research background. So, it's obvious that us humans are social creatures and we can't live without each other. It's an inseparable factor that we've developed over the years. But to put it in a metaphorical sense, we are like wet paint on a canvas. So the wet paint is our soul, the canvas is our body, and the environment it's being dried in is the social environment that we are currently in. So a good environment for drying would let the paint dry into the perfect masterpiece that it is. Just like how a good social environment would let us develop a positive mindset that could benefit us mentally and physically. But a bad social environment would do the opposite, damaging our mindsets and therefore causing more harm for our physical and mental being. But it's not just about us, it's about us. It's not just about others either, it's about us too. So people can be easily influenced by the world around them. That can also include just one person. So if we let our negative behavior slip into our social life, then people will be affected by us and will probably copy our behavior, in which they will gain more drawbacks for their physical and mental being. And now let's move on to the research questions. So first of all, why should students minimize bad habits from leaking into their social life? This is pretty easy to answer. But the second question, however, how can we make sure MTS Bilingual has a good social environment that can help students improve their soul and body? And that's why my research is needed. Let's move on to the discussion now. Let's start with the material of science. It's natural for people to be influenced by the world around them, especially when that world is filled with people with all kinds of personalities and mindsets. Now, every organ within the human body is important and has their own uses, like how the mouth is used for breaking down food into more soluble and digestible pieces. And the intestines are used for absorbing nutrients from the food that we are eating. Now, believe it or not, this process is actually very similar to how a whole group of people can absorb information from just one person. Just like the intestines absorbing nutrients from the food, people can be influenced by people can gather information from just one person. That is essentially negative when in the matter of having unhealthy habits. So what I mean by this is that some people can be influenced by how we act. So these people will be, when they're influenced by us and they copy our negative habits, they will receive more drawbacks towards their physical and mental health. So let's use the material of the digestive system. So it's obvious that humans need nutrition to survive, like food, like proteins, fats, minerals, vitamins, and all of that good stuff. Now, if we treat our guts right by giving it the essential nutrition that it needs, it'll repay us with a healthy body. But it's not just about the contents of the food that we eat, though. It's also about the feeling that we get from after eating. The feeling of satisfaction that we're going to call fullness for now, it gives a sense of calmness caused from the activation of dopamine within our brains. So dopamine is essentially a hormone that calms us down, reduces the cortisol level, and it allows us to think properly, which is the main reason why a lot of people tend to think a lot better and make more rational decisions after eating. But this might sound like total nonsense to some people, but fat is actually very important for us. But overconsumption of fat can lead to major drawbacks. So not only are we staying healthy by abstaining from eating too much fat, it'll give us a benefit that you'd least expect. So you see, a lot of body-related insecurities are results of the victim's body not fitting the current beauty standards. The most common case being fat shaming, where the body's victim is deemed "quote unquote" too fat. So not only are we benefiting our body by eating less fat, we are also benefiting our soul because of the reduced bullying that we receive from our social environments. The second material I'd like to talk about is civics. So the Pancasila is a set of moral values in Indonesia that are based on the views of Indonesia's esteemed nobles. So an example of this being applied is, for example, Indonesia is abundant in diversity, and that's enough to spark up conflicts. So in order for these conflicts to be resolved, we should all learn to appreciate the diversity amongst us. Simple as that. Which is an equal value to the third principle of Pancasila. The third principle of Pancasila, which reads, Persatuan Indonesia, means that despite our differences, we must unite as one, and the diversity amongst us as people should only be a binding tool that connects us all together. But despite that, we must learn to set boundaries and filter out behaviors that abstain from our moral values. So, people who use the Pancasila as a moral compass are not easily persuaded by others, and especially by those whose moral values don't apply to the principles of Pancasila. Now let's use the material of Pancasila as a guidance of life let's find the connection within the material of Pancasila as a guidance of life. So Pancasila basically we tend to set boundaries within our social life, and if those boundaries are based on morals, especially if those moral values are retained from the Pancasila, we can avoid people that nowadays are called bullies. So the bully's mindset consists of many negative things. One of those things being discrimination. It can be an aspect of culture, race, religion, etc. Now, not only are we by filtering people who enter our social environments based on their morals and abstaining bullies from the social environment, we are creating a safe space for others to develop. And since bullying can also come in the form of physical violence, we are reducing physical injuries caused by said physical violence. So our and other people's bodies will stay clean with the absence of physical injuries caused by bullying. But since we are also reducing the amount of discrimination within our social environments, it'll also benefit the multiracial people who are it'll benefit the multiracial people within our social environments, so that their mental stability can develop properly. But it's not just about it can right. So it's also about the sense of pride and joy that we feel as a member of a culturally diverse society. So by filtering out people based on their morals, we are building a sense of pride and joy for all of the people around us and for ourselves being part of a culturally diverse society. Now, let's go straight to the conclusion. Okay. Based on the discussion about efforts to improve students' soul and body in the social life madrasah, we can conclude that the negative habits brought by students to school will affect the students around them. So, if students don't remove and replace their negative habits starting now, the effects will be detrimental for the people around them. It can affect them negatively, both physically and mentally. Now, for the second conclusion, it's been said multiple times within this research article that students can be affected by the people around them. Just like I said in the first conclusion. So, as students, we can indirectly influence our friends by freely doing positive things around the school environment and letting them observe. Therefore, a lot of students, they tend to follow the people around them. Therefore, they can also experience the physical and mental benefits of doing positive habits for themselves and other people. That's all I have to say for now. Thank you so much for listening, and please forgive me for any of the mistakes that I've made during this presentation. I hope this was helpful. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
First, I want to appreciate what you do in your project. You show us
Thank you so much.
about mental and physical health that you have been writing in 7th class in first semester, and this is related with your write in your project for in 8th class this semester.
I appreciate your compliment, Mother.
Yeah.
Thank
I hope
you.
you keep continuing to writing about this issue that popular in society for nowadays.
Thank you so much. I
I
will
hope you
try my
can
best.
write a book or spread the influence, a good influence about that. Okay. And my question is, how you do facing the bad influence from people around you while you keep spreading good habits to people around you? Just that.
Now that's an excellent question, Mom. So the first step that I would recommend is by if these people don't want to follow or change with you, then the first step, you should just ignore them entirely. Just avoid them and don't interact with them. The second thing I would do is be brave to say no, because sometimes these people will come back to us and try to influence us and get us involved into negative habits. So we should be brave in saying no. And then the third thing I would recommend is to seek help from the people around us, like our friends or family, or this is especially when we encounter a possibly threatening problem, and then we can approach a professional, like within the aspect of physical health. We can contact a doctor, a nutritionist, or a personal trainer, or in the aspect of psychological, mental, and spiritual stuff. we can contact therapists and psychologists and psychiatrists. Now, the fourth thing I would recommend, it's so we should surrender ourselves to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, because our body and soul belong to Him and Him only. So we should so as we are surrendering ourselves, Allah knows what's best for us. So He will give us the treatment that we need by surrender. But if we surrender ourselves to Him.
Okay, thank you for the answer. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, so my question is, what kind of problem that you may see in social life in madrasah?
So as of now, during this is especially during during my 8th grade my first semester in 8th grade. So right now, ever since I entered 8th grade, there's been a lot of downgrade in students' behavior recently, even much worse than during 7th grade. I think you know who we're talking about.
Yes, I am. And
and in my opinion, I believe it's because they've been influenced by a lot more other people who with negative habits, maybe in their neighborhood or in the school life, and I think for example, a few students that I know have been they're really smart, and they used to have really good behavior in 7th grade, but in 8th grade it suddenly downgraded, and now they're much more impolite, and they don't have the manners that they used to have. So that's the problem that I've seen within the social environment of madrasa. The significant decline of manners and positive behaviors, in which a lot of students have lost their manners, their sense of behavior control, and I've seen a few people retaining back into negative habits. Like I've seen some of them try to carry weapons and stuff. It's a bit dangerous.
okay, so what is the correlation between English lesson? You choose adjective, right?
Yes.
With your topic or your title.
This mainly applies for the positive social environments that we have. So, communication is important for building strong bonds with each other, and adjectives is a term in English in which we talk about the feelings of either us or another person's feelings, and by communicating, one of the forms of communication is, expressing our emotions towards our social environment. So if we vent out our emotions towards the people who we are closest to, like our friends or family, etc., not only does it give us an opportunity to upgrade our communication skills, but it also gives us an opportunity to discuss and solve the problem that is making us feel this way. But we should talk about our emotions in front of these people and not behind their backs. So instead of gossiping and complaining to ourselves about the current feeling, we should talk to them face to face. And it's also been scientifically proven that that venting out our emotions towards our closest people can bring benefits in the form of an effective way to relieve stress. And lesser stress equals high serotonin, and high serotonin allows us to be happy and think more rationally. And with heightened serotonin, it can also benefit us physically, because heightened serotonin is what we call the happy hormone that we achieve in our brain. So high serotonin levels can increase bodily functions, just like, for example, high serotonin levels can help blood flow much easier throughout our body, which automatically makes us healthier. It also helps us regulate our sleep schedule and make it better, which a better sleep schedule can reduce the likelihood of depression and anxiety, making us mentally healthy.
Okay. Next, for the last question. So after you did the research, what did you get from it? What did you learn about the research?
What did I learn? Okay, that's an interesting question. I've learned that I should keep my manner. That I've learned I should keep my manners and reputation so that others are not affected by how my behavior inflicts them and how they later on they will inflict me. I've learned that if I don't control myself, then it will bring a lot more harm than good, and it can not just me, and not just it can also bring drawbacks to other people. So the message that I've learned from this is that we, especially I, need to learn to control our behavior so that they don't leak into the social life of this madrasah and then bring more detriment towards the people around me. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you very much for your answer. You may close the presentation.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much for paying attention, and I hope this was helpful. Please forgive me for any mistakes that I may have made during this presentation. So that's all from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.